Bama Nation, what's going on? It's Coach Smook here with Coach Jared, and we're here continuing our series on the spring preview going into the Alabama Crimson Tide's spring training. And we're in here talking about the inside linebackers today. And before we jump into it, make sure you're running up the likes, man. Make sure you're joining and continue to be a fan funder. We're excited to have you here. And without further ado, Coach Jay, let's jump into it. This inside
Yes,
linebacker
sir.
room, we are excited. We are excited to see some returning guys. We're excited to see some young talent get on the field. Let's jump right on top of it. Let's talk about the presumed starters, Deonte Lawson and Jihaad Campbell. What is something that you're excited to see from these guys going into this new scheme under a new defensive coordinator in Kane Womack?
I want to. I'm excited to see kind of the improvement in their pursuit. I think that kind of their pursuit angles were kind of off, especially when it comes to like Jihaad Campbell. Now Jihaad Campbell was, he had some rawness into his game because you're talking about a guy that was pretty much a pass rusher his entire life, that was converted into a inside linebacker, and obviously wasn't even supposed to be on the field this year. He was able to step up in the plate, and obviously he took over that spot, never really looked back. So I'm excited to see kind of the improvements for just overall Jihaad Campbell's game. Deonte Lawson is kind of one of those. He's a high floor type of player. Jihaad Campbell is a high ceiling type guy where we could be taking where next year we could be talking about Jihaad Campbell going in the first round. So these are athletic size linebackers. Obviously, Jihaad is kind of the bigger linebacker of the two, but them bringing the overall experience, they're kind of performing in a scheme that they're pretty familiar with for the most part. I'm pretty excited to see kind of the progression from both these players going into, well, for Deonte going into year 5, and for Jihaad Campbell obviously going into his junior season. I'm excited to see the progression of these linebackers and how well they're going to perform for this defense coming in for 24.
Me too, man. Again, that's Coach Jarek here with Bama Football on YouTube. Coach Jay, I'm excited more so for Jihaad Campbell. Like you said, this last year he was kind of thrown into that role as a rotational guy, and he ended up being a solidified piece to this defense, a very intricate part to the run support game, especially in the middle of the field, a position or area
Mm-hmm.
where we struggled mightily up until last year. We saw a lot of improvement. So I'm excited to see these two guys engaged and deployed in this swarm D system. Another guy that we haven't been able to talk about very much this offseason, and a lot of people have kind of forgotten about it, but are waiting to see him step on the scene and really make his mark, is Justin Jefferson. The the JUCO transfer out of I forget the school he came from, but the young man is a speeding missile. He gives you the Reuben Foster feel, not necessarily the tackling ability, but his speed, his range, his ability to dissect the run game, his aggressiveness in attacking the holes, the gaps. I'm excited to see him. Give me your thoughts on Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I mean, you just said it right here. I mean, his range, and you're talking about performing in a scheme that requires a linebacker to have that required range. I mean, he has it. That's there's no question about it. His quickness, his range, and again, his ability to cover. That's one thing that Washington had last year with Kalen DeBoer, was that they had rangy linebackers. Now, obviously, of course, we're not having Washington's defensive coordinator. We're having Kane Womack, who's going to perform that 4-2-5 defense. But you can see some similarities and kind of see how what Kalen DeBoer and Kane Womack kind of want with their linebackers. They want guys that can cover, simple as that. And Jihaad Campbell has range. Deonte Lawson has a little bit. He's athletic, but he doesn't really have the range as both those guys kind of combined. So I could see Justin Jefferson potentially being a rotational piece. Coming in third and manageable or third and long situations. Now, of course, he is undersized. But you know what? A lot of again, I look at a player like Roquan Smith, Nakobe Dean, undersized, speedy, rangy linebackers that were kind of able to, again, they use their quickness and their agility to their advantage, especially when it comes to the pursuit angle and being really good in the run game. So I'm excited to see what Justin Jefferson can do. He had a really good spring game last year. You saw that he was willing to take on blockers and be really, really strong, leading guys in the hole. Despite the fact that he's 5'11", and again, we all know how college sometimes lies. He may be 5'10", but still, I mean, you to have a linebacker like that in your roster that is fearless, that's willing to do whatever it takes to be on the football field. I was hoping to see him on the football field this year based on that spring game, but the fact that he's a lot of experience under his belt, fifth-year player. Matter of fact, I think the community, the JUCO college he actually went to, kind of ran a similar scheme. So I think he does have some familiarity with the scheme that they're going to be running a little bit. But for the most part, he has all the physical intangibles to be a part of this defense, and hopefully he can have a much bigger, he can have a much bigger part in this defense by at least, I'm not saying he's going to be a starter, but at least being part of that rotation, and maybe you can use him in third and manageable or in third and long distances.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, Coach Jay. I'm looking at his skill set and what he brings to the inside linebacker room, and I mean, you just can't deny the fact that he's probably your fastest linebacker in that room, and he's not scared of contact. He's really going to come up and fill holes. He's going to attack his gaps on his blitzes. I think he can cover the running back out of the backfield. I think he could give you good coverage, underneath coverage for a tight end or wide receiver, bracket type scheme. I think he's the perfect fit. You said something and alluded to his size. One thing that I have been seeing, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but a lot of the linebacker prospects that we are offering in this 25 class, this upcoming 25 class, they fit this same mold, this same anatomical makeup as Justin Jefferson. And you look at QB Reese, you look at Caden Jones, you look at guys like that, they all have that similar build and that similar type of range and speed. So it looks like Kane Womack and this staff are kind of like taking a liking to that style of linebacker in that build, because look at what they can do. Like you said, they can get in space and coverage. Another guy that we haven't been talking about a lot this offseason, and it is maybe because we don't know what Kane Womack and this staff is going to do with him because of his range and his ability, is Jeremiah Alexander. You saw him in his high school film. He played a lot of edge. He played he played everywhere, every linebacker position you would want to see him at. Last year, we saw him get a lot of inside linebacker reps towards the end of the season. Give me your thoughts on Jeremiah Alexander possibly joining this inside linebacker room and what that could mean as far as the rotation and depth of what we have right there.
Well, he's a hybrid. He's a hybrid player. I mean, like I said, you could literally use him on the edge as a pass rusher if you want. Matter of fact, at Thompson, that's what he was known for in Alabaster. Yeah. But you saw a little bit. He made that transition to playing as a linebacker, as an inside linebacker full time. Was kind of that third, fourth string guy, and made his mark for the most part. But he's an interesting prospect because, like I said, he has a lot of the physical tools, and he's not the fastest guy. I don't even like to say he's the rangiest guy. He's a space eater, though. That's what Jeremiah can do. He's a space eater. He's a bigger linebacker at 6'2", 245 pounds with natural instincts to his game. He's an interesting prospect, very interesting prospect. Because again, Justin Jefferson, even though he's a willing guy that can take on blockers, obviously one of the biggest critiques when it comes to shorter linebackers is the fact that if you have bigger offensive linemen that can get their hands on them, it doesn't matter if you're willing or not. Can you shed the block? Nakobe Dean, he fell to the third round mainly because of that issue. Could not get off of blockers, and he was a first team All-American, but still couldn't get off blockers. He slid all the way to the third round. So, Jeremiah Alexander kind of fits the prototype in today's inside linebacker stage, where he's 6'2", 245 pounds for that instance. But we'll see what he can do. I still think he's a little bit raw. And now again, it's not like this is a completely brand new scheme to these guys. We did run this a little bit, even though this wasn't our main package defense. But it is a utilization. It was a utilization to this defense, and we'll see what Jeremiah Alexander can do in year two, working as an inside, if he even is going to play as an inside linebacker.
Right,
they very well could just get hands on the ground, moves in the outside edge, and I think that kind of fits his role a little bit more compared to being as an inside. But he can do both. He's a hybrid player.
I think you're right, spot on, man. Let's jump over to the new incoming freshmen. This group of linebackers, I'm very excited to see get opportunities, get on the field, and just develop. I don't see a lot of these guys getting a lot of heavy rotational reps this year, being that the inside linebacker room, you're probably only going to go maybe 3-4 deep in this rotation, barring any injuries from the veterans that's in front of them. This group of freshmen, I think, could be the next phase of what we're going to see this Swarm D become when it comes to the inside linebacker room. I look at the names like Sterling Dixon, Caden Jones, Justin Okoronkwo. I hope I said Okoronkwo. I hope I say that right. And Quentin Reese. And possibly We've been hearing Noah Carter being thrown on the edge, but I've been talking with the family, and man, Noah Carter is one of those new hybrid linebackers that the staff is really just excited about, because you can place him anywhere, and his athleticism is going to make up for the technique and the things that he has yet to learn or yet to develop. Looking at this list, man, starting with Sterling Dixon, what gets you excited about him having an opportunity this spring to kind of showcase his abilities? And knowing that he's going to be at the inside linebacker position, does he possess the skill set to man this position?
I think he does. I think he does possess the skill set. Obviously, I think again you can add more weight. He can be faster. Obviously, he's a freshman. He's going to be coming in and working with David Ballou. So, we don't know what he's going to look like as a junior and a senior, or if he stays for the senior year. But I think he does possess the tools. One of the things I like about his high school tape, I love his natural instincts. I love his feel for the game. I love his pursuit. I love his pursuit angles. I think it's a little more advanced than a lot of other high school linebackers. And we're talking, high quality 3 and 4 stars where they simply just use their athleticism, but didn't really use their kind of their IQ a little bit. And again, I'm not gonna dog high school athletes, but you know how this thing works. Kids,
right?
Would literally use their athleticism to dominate that stage instead of really just kind of taking a look at at all kind of 4 phases or 4 to 5 phases of playing that position. So Sterling Dixon's an interesting prospect. Matter of fact, all these guys are interesting prospects, including I would even say like a Justin. Justin O is a very interesting prospect.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, for the most part, a lot of these linebackers stayed when Coach Saban left for a reason. They stayed for a reason. I think they love the scheme. They love the fact how this is really going to either make a linebacker or this could really expose a linebacker, because now you're not getting that much help from backside, right? It's you're playing that 4-2, you're playing that 4-2-5, you're playing that swarm defense. It's a lot of space. It's a lot of space for these linebackers to cover, and I think that a lot of these guys have the athleticism to play that particular role. And I'm excited to see what Sterling Dixon, a lot of these other guys can present to the table in the future.
Awesome. And before we close, I'm going to leave you all with the name to watch for a true freshman that I am excited to see. QB Reese, the true freshman inside linebacker out of Birmingham, Alabama. I am excited to see this young man do his thing on the field as a true freshman. I think he's going to be a very, very loud presence. He's going to make an impact on the special teams. I think a lot of these guys will, but QB Reese he's giving me young Reuben Foster vibes, man. Like that relentless pursuit effort, the speed, the range, his intensity at the point of attack. I mean, vocal leader, the guy is ready to be at Bama. He embodies that old Alabama inside linebacker mentality, and I'm excited to see that return. So, Bama Nation, the undefeated, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to run up the likes. Make sure that you continue to stay a fan funder so that you can continue to get access to all these videos. Turn on all your notifications, and it's been fun. I'm Coach Smook, and this Coach Jarek, and we have brought you another insider for this year's spring game, the inside linebacker position. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy it. See you next time. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.